two.
Test 1 2 1 2. The broadcast is live. The broadcast is live.
That's a good. I'm always a little lower because I talk low.
Well, speak up, man. You got a voice.
I suck. I suck when I talk. Right?
What?
You can't do that. That's impossible.
Who says that about themselves?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, Mitch. Of course.
Don't. I don't know.
I'm not well spoken
Check.
like you guys.
Oh,
check.
Tim, look at that. The
Checks in
man
the
with the
mail.
voice.
Tell you, Marvin B's got a great voice too.
Oh yeah. We've got. I got some news articles. We've got a quick email. Nothing too exciting. And yeah. And
Whenever
you guys want to talk about Windows 10, so I would love to.
Whenever you're ready, go right ahead. I'm gonna go.
All right. 10 seconds.
Oh, I want to minimize this. They don't need to see that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Geeksters episode 166. This is a show where we talk about all things geeky. It's got a computer in it. At some point we're going to talk about it from iPhones to Android phones, digital watches, Windows 10. That's right, Windows 10. We're going to talk about Windows 10 today, I think. I think today is our tribute to the 10. But before we get going, my name is Martin Albano. I'm one of the co-hosts here on this fabulous show. I want to just give a quick shout out to a couple of our sponsors. One is the ACRBO. That's the Association of Computer Repair Business Owners. If you go to podnuts.com, all the way on the left-hand side, go about halfway down. Currently, right now, the ACRBO logo is stuck between Android, AppNX, and Linux for the rest of us, as Geeksters has the top spot as of right now on the podnuts.com page. So that's pretty awesome. What is ACRBO? Like I said, it's Association of Computer Repair Business Owners. There's a fee. You get in, and the prices are, I think they're $50 for a year for a membership account. It can go up from there. You can get discounts. I've used it for Screen Connect. You can use the discounts for. I saw MaxMail. I saw Ditto. I saw. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. So you get all these things. I just renewed. So if you're looking at the video, there's my cert. Good through July 22nd, 2016. This is my little professional member. There, I've been a member now for a couple years, and it's a good little place to just go. They have a forum. They've got vendors. They have academies. They've got webinars. They've got blogs. Check them out. ACRBO, that's Association of Computer Repair Business Owners. And Herman Poole has taken the reins of that, and he has ran with it, and he's doing a great job. So we want to thank ACRBO for being a sponsor of the Podnuts Network, which then in turn becomes a sponsor of Geeksters. So I want to introduce my men that I hang out with, my homies, Tim and Mitch. Hey guys, how's it going?
What up, dog?
What up, dog?
Good, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing well, doing real good. It's hot here today. Hot.
Yeah, it's been hot here too.
Uh-oh.
This is our world record. Was it not world record, but our record-breaking day of over 90-degree weather. I think it's something like 25 days or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been like a really nice, cool summer here. It was rainy for the most part, but it's funny. Just as the kids are going back to school, we're finally getting that hot weather that you really associate with summers. So I'm not sure. I've heard people complain about that. I don't understand that. I thought it was a fantastic summer, nice and green here, much like you often find in the Pacific Northwest.
I know.
Everything was nice and green here. Through July, I'm like mowing lawn. Everything's nice and beautiful. So, and the kids, the kids don't care. It's 55 degrees outside. They're getting in the swimming pool. They don't care. So I kind of thought it was the best of both worlds. But we're sending them kids off school here next week. So you got our hot weather, I guess, then, huh?
Yeah. Yep. My kids don't start school until the 9th or the 10th. It depends on if you're a freshman or not. Yeah. So there you go. They don't start for a couple weeks, but Oregon has a very short school year. So.
Well, I think ours are padded out with potential snow days.
Well, Farmer's Almanac says that it's supposed to be a wet wet and snowy weather for us this winter. So we'll guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
If the kids are still in school by the end of by July 4th, it means we had a lot of snow days.
July 4th. if they need days off from school to go out and detassel corn.
There you go.
Oh gosh, July 4th. Okay, well we'll see. Yes.
Yep. Mitch, you doing good?
Yeah, I'm still kicking.
Well, that's
Which
always
is-
good.
At my age, I'm lucky to get up in the morning. So
Oh, good grief! You're a young whippersnapper. You're only as old as you think you are.
no, they
feel
tell me
old, so.
they tell me something different at work. They keep on saying, "Why don't you retire?" It's pretty bad when your bosses tell you, "Why don't you retire? Why don't you retire?" No, they don't. I'm joking.
Oh, why don't you retire?
2 years,
2 years. All right. In 2 years, folks,
possibly.
Mitch is going to take the helms of Geeksters and drive it onward and upward.
Me?
Yeah.
No, you guys make geeksters. I'm just here to record.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Well, things are well. So I, as of last week, didn't get a chance to mess too much with Windows 10. I have now installed it on this machine behind me this morning. That's pretty much where it's at. That's my Windows 10 experience so far.
Looks good.
I know I mean, the machine hasn't blown up and it's not on fire. So hey, I think that's so far that's a win in my
Okay.
book.
The number one thing to do, actually, which I did it wrong. If you're doing the upgrade, or if you're doing a clean install, you want to do a custom. The very first thing you need to do is this. You got to turn that off. If you can read that, Mark, you can explain it better than me.
So what Mitch has brought up on his screen is the how the upgrades are delivered. This is one of the things that I'm looking to both you guys. I know, Tim, you've been using Windows 10. This update allows Windows 10, so when this is on, Windows 10 will share its updates with other people within your network. So instead of me going out and grabbing all my updates from Microsoft or from my WSUS server, I would kind of colo updates and share within your network. I could see the benefits of it in a business network. You kind of it almost reminds me of a BitTorrent or a torrent where you're sharing
exactly
where you're
same
sharing
technology.
where you're sharing that network and stuff like that. So that's great, except for the fact that, say, what if you go to what if you're at a coffee shop or an open location, and they haven't hardened down their network enough where your data is isolated from everybody else's data? Could you then possibly be sharing updates? Now it's just updates, but could you possibly be sharing updates, and you're basically sharing your bandwidth and processing power to other computers in the same network?
Yeah, it's fine on your own network, but when it says PCs on my local network and PCs on the internet, that's a different story.
Yeah. So there's a network, so you can turn it on for your network, or you can turn it on for the internet. Which, just I say, just turn it off. That's my vote.
But it is pretty. I would say that it's kind of pretty. Yeah, you got your start menu back, but it's not like the old start menu we're used to. I mean, you have your tiles in there, but you can delete all that stuff if you want. But I mean, I like it. It's all right with me. But I haven't had a chance to customize it because I put it on 2 machines, and I've been mainly messing around with my i5. This is an i3 laptop that you're seeing now. I'm not doing the broadcast on here. I'm on a different PC, but I'm using this program Wirecast. It lets me, see other computers on my network. So, but yeah, and the best way to install it, if you're doing a clean install, and I'm not sure if you probably have the choice too on the upgrade. You want to do a custom install this way because there's a lot of security stuff. Maybe you can get into that more and explain it better than me. But you need to turn a lot of that stuff off.
Yeah. So far, and I have 2 tips regarding that one thing. And Tim, are you still there with us, or?
Oh yeah, I'm still
Okay.
here.
Well,
Yeah.
you were very quiet and still on the video.
Well,
so
no, I'm just taking all this Windows 10 crap in. Go ahead.
So before we get to the tips though, you've been using Windows 10. I mean, you've been using Windows 10 and are using Windows 10 right now, correct?
Yeah, and go ahead. Yeah.
You're having mic problems, by the way, Tim.
Still,
Yeah.
what? Really?
Well, it just
Yeah,
sounds crackly.
Yeah, crackly. Maybe it might be too loud or something. Or
We
we can understand you guys. It's not robotic like somebody was a couple of weeks ago, but.
Well, I am using Chrome, so.
Hmm.
Well,
Anyway, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on 10? Then, if you've been, I mean, you've used it in a live production environment, definitely more than me.
Okay, so first of all, my audio good or no?
It's fine.
We can make out what you're saying.
Oh, well, that's not acceptable. You can make out what I'm saying.
It sounds like that's the right mic. What it sounds like you are peaking, and so it's kind of crackling.
It's modulated. If you can go into the settings and just maybe lower the mic settings, that might do it. I gotta.
Yeah.
But it could be Windows 10.
So while Tim looks for that, so Mike Smith, who I got a chance and a pleasure to meet at the ChannelCon hangout in Chicago. Great guy. Didn't get a chance to meet him. He fell ill a little bit, and everybody's just kind of running around and doing stuff. And but great guy. He came up with a couple. He actually installed Windows 10, did an upgrade to his machine at the conference while he was just hanging out in his hotel room. And kudos and props to you for doing it when you don't have all your equipment and you are away from home, because I'm not sure I would do that. But props to Mike Smith for taking that leap. He came up with 11 Windows 10 tips. And it's a PDF, so I'm going to put a link in the show notes and in the chat room. It's just a link right to his PDF that talks about it. And it's things like disable sharing your bandwidth, and that's exactly what you were talking about, Mitch. Turning on system restore, checking your screensaver settings. In Windows 10, the screensavers automatically, the default one goes to your photos, your My Pictures document. And apparently this has gotten some people in trouble because people, I've heard, have had a folder, a subfolder with photos in it that may or may not want to be seen by their spouse, and that then all of a sudden became part of the screensaver. So, yeah. So,
oh, that's fantastic.
We haven't had a good.
Tim is back.
Oh, that reminds me of the joke where on the dude's birthday, his wife says, "Oh, hey, want me to change into somewhere comfortable?" And he's like, "Oh yeah," and she leaves the room, and he undresses, she comes back, it's a surprise party, and Grandma's there and everything. Oh gosh. Anyway, go ahead.
We haven't had a good laugh like that from Tim in a while.
Oh
so,
my goodness
that
gracious!
Was a good one.
Yeah.
Turn off File Explorer, quick access view, schedule your restarts, command prompt tools, record a video of an app. It talks about how to do that because right now there's a recording DVR, like a game DVR function so you can record like games, but there's a way to turn it on so you can actually record maybe like a training video or something like that. Getting rid of the old stuff, managing your notifications, disabling Wi-Fi sense. That's the one where it will automatically share your password through your contacts for Facebook, Skype, and Outlook. So I could use my Windows 10. Tim and I are Facebook friends. He gets my password. He brings his laptop over to my house because he wants to come over and visit me. He comes into my home. Boom, he can jump on my wireless because I'm sharing it through Facebook. So there's a way to turn that off. Some new keyboard shortcuts, and then setting up your default apps. So Mike Smith, 11 Windows 10 tips. It'll be in the show notes, and also I just put it in the chat room for everybody to take a look at. The other thing, since I'm on this one, Security Now, episode 519. So this would have been not today's. This would have been on August 4th. Steve Gibson, about the last hour of the show, goes through all of those. When you click Express, when you choose not to do the Express settings, he goes through every single setting and talks about every single one. So if you're interested, check out Security Now, episode 519, and that will be in there. And it's called the Windows 10 Privacy Trade-off. So yeah. So now, Tim, what
Well,
what are your
I
thoughts
don't
on
know.
Windows 10?
Look. I mean, is my audio any good or not? I mean,
I
'cause
mean, it's
Good enough.
listenable, but it's crackly. So
uh, that's a bunch of crap. Well, well, in that case, I'm just going to hit the high spots here because I did have a number of things I wanted to bring, but um, hey, look, I my opinion of it is it's not Windows 8, and I say that in a good way, and I'm really prepared just to leave it at that. My opinion's not fully baked on this, and I got to say that I actually have a lot of good things to say about it as far as just the usability. Most of the complaints I had about Windows 8 are this fixes them, and so 8 and 8.1. So I feel very very good about that. This is something that coming from Windows 7, having never seen Windows 8, if you came from Windows 7, upgraded, and we're using this Windows 10, I feel like you could do that, and you're not instantly infuriated. Um, you know, really, my opinion of it is, and I'll tell you, I think that generally speaking, I think it's not. I don't think it's terribly attractive. And really, that's where I'm going to leave it right now. Is that this is. I'm going to summarize it like this. It's like your second wife. Not particularly attractive, but easy to live with. And I'm just
Hey,
going to leave
hey,
it.
hey, hey, hey.
What did I say? What
Uh,
did I say? What did I say?
I'm on my second marriage,
Well, okay, but I mean, that's just kind of where I'm going to leave it.
but she's beautiful.
Well, so it's like your second wife, except in Mitch's case. You know what I meant.
Now I feel like doing that laugh, but I don't know how. But
So I mean, that's kind of where I'm leave it. As far as my experience, I was I was pushed off the ledge a little sooner than I wanted to. My desk machine here, I came down one day and it was off, and I think from a power outage or something. I turned it on, and the Ethernet adapter had gotten zapped, I guess. So I had no way to connect the internet with it without rigging something up. So I thought, well, I'm just going to install it on this. And I collected up a bunch of stuff I'd laying around here. So this machine here, it's an i7, 12 gigs of RAM,
oh wow, Woo.
with got 120 gig SSD. So if something doesn't work, there's a real issue.
Your video is really smooth. That's one thing. It's going good for you. Really
Okay,
doing
all right.
smooth.
Well, that's good. I did have the major issues that I found with Windows 10 so far is just resolving display issues with excuse me, graphics drivers trying to install um, video cards because you're having to use a lot of Windows. There a lot of the drivers they provide, so a lot of the manufacturers haven't really caught up with that. So there was that, and I've gotten calls about people installing, having video problems, and there's quite a bit of a history with this during the testing development stages of it, where people are getting black screens with just the mouse, and what that is where Windows thinks that there's actually
External monitor.
dual displays, and you're seeing the second display, and so there's kind of a way of blindly logging in and then getting yourself resolved that way. But then for kicks, I found an old machine out in the garage, and I hooked it up, and I successfully installed and used Windows 10 on an old machine. It was a P4 with a gig of RAM.
P4.
Yeah.
And then installed.
And it runs. Now it's not. You wouldn't want to use this as a daily driver, but I mean,
Right.
it installed, ran, and I was using I loaded up Chrome and was browsing the internet, and it's like I said, it wasn't fun, it wasn't pleasant to use, it was slow, but it was a P4 for crying out loud. So with a gig of RAM, and so of course that's a fresh install. You don't have a lot of other stuff going, but it idled at 600 megs of RAM use. So I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with it so far.
Cool. Yeah, so the one behind me, what I did is I just took so I hadn't licensed the copy of Windows 7 that I had been using. So I tried to install Windows 10 on it, just a straight upgrade. It wanted me to put a key in. I didn't have a key, so because I'd been running just just saying never mind, don't bother me about it. And it wouldn't upgrade. By the time I got to one point where it said you have to put a key in, I said skip or no or cancel, and it took me right back to Windows 7. So I went and downloaded the ISO and then put it on a new hard drive, brand new, fresh install, and just skip the key because I'm just going to test with it. So I have not put a key in there; it's not activated, and I'm just going to be going that route and seeing what happens with it. It looks like Uncle Al in the chat room is saying that TechWriter is saying that Microsoft can disable pirated games on Windows 10.
Yeah, it can detect it, and yeah, there's a lot of security issues. I don't know. Not that I would ever run a legal game or anything like that. I don't play any games, period. But
well, it's just that Microsoft just jumping in your computer and being able to do things like that. But I guess if you're going to use their product, I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't messed with it too much. I don't know much about that. But what do you guys think about that? I mean, with an operating system, instead of you being able to do what you want to do with it, now it's to the point where if you want to run it, this is what it's getting more and more basically our way or the highway.
Well, there's this. Let me get this one if I can find this one article. I mean, there's a lot of security things like people are worried about. It's recording touchscreen. If you have a touch screen, which I don't, it's going to record keystrokes or key logging. But I think it's just meant for error, checking for errors. But let me find this article. But
I saw that about the OS being able to disable pirates. So you know what I think. I don't think anything of that. I think Windows has always been a complete wasteland of piracy. People do pretty much doing as they please with pirated software. Windows itself is victim of it as much as anything. I believe that's nothing more than a little bit of saber rattling, and I don't see where they shouldn't be able to do some degree of that if they wanted to, and then having said that, I think that there will always be ways around whatever they put in place, and if there's not, somebody will develop one. That's once again I don't feel there's any. I feel that that pirated software should be a self-regulating thing, and I think it will continue to do so. But if they put some things in place, I don't think I think they should. I think they can if they want. I don't see any problem with that. And if anybody wants to get around it, they should be able. They will not should. But they will be able to. I'm sure. I think it's much ado about nothing.
well, there's a privacy setting in there. And there's an advertising thing where, like if you have it enabled, it will let apps use my advertising ID for experience across apps. Turn this off, will reset your ID. So, is that like targeted advertising or something like that? It's going to allow third-party apps to do this, or so I'm not sure all about that. And it can use your camera. You want to turn all that stuff off, and I don't know. Just
I think look
default settings.
The moment you plug an Ethernet cable into a computer,
You're right.
on a desktop, exactly. The moment you plug it, your privacy's gone. I mean,
right. You're right.
That's the long and short of it. As soon as you're on the internet, once you're connected up, I think you pretty much give away all your privacy, and anything you do after that is an attempt to try and plug holes in the dam. When you're dealing with appliances that you wouldn't expect that from, like your television, your refrigerator, your washing machine, if that stuff's providing, if it's connected up and providing information, I mean, that's different. But I mean, all these phones, these computers, and all these things. Look, if you want privacy, you have to stay off the system, keep it unplugged. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why we have things like firewalls and routers and intrusion detection systems and all of that stuff is because as soon as you plug something up to the network, it's fair game. But on this other hand, but we don't want regulation. We want that fair game. We want that Wild West, if you will, because we want to be able to do things on the internet. So we battle with this. We battle with this Wild West analogy of we don't want the government or any other third-party entity filtering our stuff, content filtering our stuff, telling us what we can and can't view, what we can and can't do on the internet, but yet because we don't have any filters, because we don't have anything in place, and don't get me wrong, I'm not in favor of government content filtering. I like having the internet. I don't want to become a regulated society like China where the government rules what is allowed in media. I don't want that. So don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that we have this problem. We want our cake and we want to eat it too. And we have to live with I think we would rather take the openness of the internet and dealing with all of this stuff by plugging these holes in the dams with intrusion detection systems and programs like Untangle and pfSense and firewalls and routers, and we would rather do that than say, okay, let's just filter the snot out of it. So what we get is this condensed version that's all nice and neatly packaged. We don't want that. We want the whole thing and let us monitor it and let us individually take on those responsibilities. There could be a problem with that because you have smart people and honestly you have not so smart people, and the smart people will not get infected and the not so smart people will, which keeps us in business.
Okay, you were taking a far greater
I know.
global view of that. I'm not in favor of any kind of federal regulation or a content filtering type of thing. I see where you're going with that.
I did go about the big brush.
As far as and I agree with you absolutely. As far as privacy issues, I suppose that it is good that you have all these options. I just don't see where I don't see where there's anything in Windows 10 that's like, aha, this is where they're trying to get you. I mean, it's like you're being presented with options to turn things off or turn things on, but I don't see where there's a big Windows screw you consumer where we found this and you're trying to do that to us. It's like, you know what? We've been dealing with these Android things, forever. I've been a little surprised by the heat that Microsoft has been drawing for the things that they're asking permission to do or giving the option to turn off that many times on our Android phones. It's like, well, it's just Google and that's just what they do,
right?
And it's no big deal. So,
no, that's a great point. Remember when Facebook came out on the Android phone, the Facebook Messenger, and it was all about looking at your contacts and your calendars and your all that kind of stuff, and it was like, whoa, this is a big problem. Uninstall it. Well, it's no different than any of the other apps that jump on there. I mean, yes, there's problems like flashlight problems. I want a flashlight. Well, why do you need to have my contacts for the flashlight? I get that, but you're right. Microsoft is taking a lot of heat over all of these settings, which we just kind of go, meh. Like you said, it's Google. So that's interesting. So in your thought then, and I'm gonna the way I present this question may be kind of weighted one side or another, but with Windows 7 still being valid, updated, legal, ready to use, supported up until 2020. Right now your decision may change later. Right now, with being on Windows 10 for the last week or so, is the move from 7 to 10 needed or even validated? Is there anything in 10 that you say, hands down, move to 10, this is the best thing? Right. Or do you just say, you know what?
No, I would do it. I would keep Windows 7 until Windows 10 is about to stop being it stops being a free upgrade, and then I would do it. I would say, if you can keep Windows 7, I would do it. I don't see any compelling reason to upgrade from 7 to 10. I wouldn't recommend it to my mother. Now, when it stops, when I see where it's going to stop being a free upgrade, I'd say, okay, Mom, let's save you some money. Upgrade from Windows 7 to 10. But that's it. I don't see any component. Now I have it. I'm going to keep it on this machine, because I need to kind of what I'm dealing with here. But no, what's the compelling reason here?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it's a free upgrade. I think that's the compelling reason. Right?
Well,
I mean, what else is there?
Right. I mean, I had a client today call me up, email me, and he's a lawyer. He is one of the partners in the law office, and they said, we want to upgrade from Windows 10, Windows 7 to Windows 10. They have a Lenovo ThinkPad. It's a year and a half old. Why shouldn't we upgrade? And I said, right now it's a little bit buggy. I haven't been able to figure out all the features on the way it uses. I know that some people are having audio issues, some people are having printing issues, some people are having, mice issues, touchpad issues. So basically it came down to, I realize it's free. It's going to be free for a year. They're supposed to be releasing some updates, I heard, in October, November for Windows 7. It's essentially like the Windows 7 Service Pack 2. They're not going to be calling it that, but it'll be upgrades for Windows 10. It's so new that, hold off, you have a year to upgrade. There's no reason right now to upgrade. I said, you can upgrade if you want to. I said, but. He said, well, then I said, but I don't recommend it. They came back with, but I know that you can roll back after the upgrade. I said, yes. But I can't find any documentation that says once you upgrade and then you roll back, are you able to move forward again?
Yes.
Like
I did that.
But can you go back and forth and back and forth?
I did it twice. I mean,
Okay.
then I did the let me see. I wrote because I was having that problem with TeamSpeak. I rolled back to 8, and the problem was still there. Upgraded again, and everything's fine. The problem still existed. So then I did the clean install. So essentially, you could say I did it 3 times. But once they have that on record, I was activated the first time. They have it on record. So I did the clean install, and it was activated immediately as soon as Windows booted up with the clean install.
But there's no documentation that lawyers with Lenovo's can successfully upgrade to Windows 10, decide if they like it or not. If they don't, successfully roll back, and in the future successfully do forward without any phone calls to Martin. I mean, that's the bottom line. And if this is a computer making money, that's the reason why you don't, because it's in production, it's making money. We can't have it down, and I don't want any calls over things that I'm telling you not to do.
Right, and that's pretty much what it came down to. I said, you can if you want to. I said, I don't know if your printers, your Synology NAS, your mice, your touchscreen, I don't know if any of that's going to work. And the only really way to check that if it's going to work is by doing it. And are you willing to take the risk of just doing it and hoping for the best rather than saying, I know right now that Windows 7 is working. It's good through 2020. I have a year before I need to actually get painted into a corner to actually upgrade to Windows 10, or I have nothing after that. Then, so he said, okay, they're going to hold off, and I think that's a great idea. I mean, at least give it 3 or 4 or 6 months. You have
a month to go back and forth. The option is only available for a month after you upgrade to Windows 10, so you have a month to go back.
Okay, so here's the question.
It says right there on the screen. So
I guess we haven't reached that month yet, but if I take my computer right now on August 18th and I roll it forward to 10, I know I have 30 days to roll it back. Okay, now 15 days in, I say this is not going to work. I don't like this anymore. I roll it back. Now in 15 days, it's now been 30 days. Can I still roll forward? Or they say, you know what? It's been that month for you to just play around and test. What's going to happen there? We haven't reached that month yet. It was released on the 29th. It's now the 18th. We have 10 days before even the first people actually reach that event horizon, if you will. So we don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
I think the issue is when you do the free upgrade, you have 30 days to roll it back and maintain. If it's from Windows 7, this is if going for sub. Well, I assume 8 also, but you have 30 days to roll it back and maintain a Windows 7 or 8 product key. Once you're at that 30 days, you have to keep Windows 10, and you can't go back because it's.
You can go back with your own software. If you have a Windows 8, you have your original 8. See, mine, when I did a clean install, I left the recovery partition intact because it came with 8.1. So I can go back that way.
Well, I know the product key that came with your machine. Like the way I understand, like this Windows 7, I have 30 days to roll it back and make, because that it takes that product key, changes it into a Windows 10 product key, and then it's bound to that hardware. I mean, that's the way I understand it. So you have 30 days to roll it back and
30, yeah,
and maintain that. I would have 30 days to roll it back and maintain that Windows 7 product key. I mean, that's the way I understand it. So in the case of, well, anyway, and if I misunderstand it, then maybe I'm not going to continue.
You might be right, actually.
Yeah.
Well, and what I'm finding.
So if that's the case, it seems to me like you have a whole year. You can do this bouncing back and forth thing all you want. And keep in mind that if you just want to try it out, just go to the media creation tool, make a Windows 10 disk, and just install it with no product key. I'm not sure how long you can use it, but you can use it for for a while, plenty of time to test it without any product key at all.
Right, and that's what I've done.
That's what I did too.
And that's what I did on my P4 machine.
Right. What I'm finding is that
Windows 8 too.
what I'm finding is that multiple people are having multiple issues where there's not one thing of like, well, once you upgrade to Windows 10, okay, this is happening or that's happening. I mean, Kevin in the chat room was talking about he ran into NVIDIA drivers. I've had people lose their network connectivity. I've had Office issues on, so there's 3 computers, 3 different problems. I've had mice and touchscreen issues. Now there's 4 computers, 4 different problems. I mean, it's, there's nothing that has been the same across the board. So if it was all the same and I said, okay, we know that this computer, now chances are his Lenovo ThinkPad's probably going to work just fine. I can roll the dice and probably say 80%, if not more, his computer will have 0 issues when he upgrades to Windows 10. Are you willing to take that 20% chance, though, in production, as a lawyer? You know what I mean? I wouldn't, as me being their IT guy and having to support them, I can't take that 20% risk because as soon as he goes down, then what happens? I need to run to his office. I need to upgrade him or roll him back. Now, how much production has he lost? Where is he at in a legal brief? Is this going to throw his schedule back? I mean, test it out, or just wait, and maybe that 20% chance will go away in the winter when people aren't as busy. Maybe he'll have some more time, or we'll go on a vacation. Then say upgrade it. We can fix it after that because you're not on vacation.
And if and if machines in a production environment have any third-party software on there that's critical to day-to-day operations, don't you dare touch the thing. Just leave it. If it's working now, leave it alone. Because now you got to chase down. If you have issues with that, what do you got to do? Especially if it's somewhat unusual software. I'm speaking to kind of boutique software that with maybe somewhat sketchy to support, that surely they have not necessarily got every bug worked out with Windows 10, right? I mean, give me an example, Martin. If you have something specific to the business that if there's some kind of specific, like for example, I'm thinking of a a heating and air company that has something very specific they use their heating and air,
right? Or ACT software. Or which is a database software for that. I don't know. I had something I was going to say and I completely lost what it was. But in the past when you've gone from XP to 7 or from 7 to 8, you had to take your computer to someone. It was hard to do. There was actions involved. There was not. I don't want to say some skill, but there was this. You had to devote time. It's like sitting down and doing your taxes. You had to devote time. You had to get the CD. You had to upgrade. You had to do all this processes.
It was an event.
It was an event. Thank you. Exactly. It was an event. You had to set away time. It was a process to do an upgrade. Now Windows 10, and as a tech, that was easy for us because we could say, let's not do that now. I'll have to come and I'll have to help you out. We can schedule it out. We can research it. We can do it. And now what's happening is by doing this in-place upgrade, Microsoft has made it harder on us because now instead of being proactive, we're now being reactive and having to put out fires. I understand why they're doing it. I understand they're going to go to this model of, in-place upgrades, and I think that's wise. And I think in the future that's going to work out better in the long run. It's just right now during this transition phase, I think as techs we're just saying hold off. Everybody just stop what you're doing because if you don't, then I mean I've received 4 or 5 emails this week just of, hey, should I upgrade to Windows 10? No. Why not? here's my, I'm basically copying pasting almost the same thing every time. And these are, one customer is a client who sends me her computers from Oklahoma when her computer has a problem. She wants to know whether or not she can upgrade to Windows 10. She's in the middle of school, and she wants to know. I'm like, no, because you're in Oklahoma, and if there's a problem, I'm going to have your computer, because I may or may not be able to connect to you, especially if you have a network issue, So.
Yeah, if look, I understand people want to play with it. Play with it at home.
Yeah.
Play with it at home. Do all you want at home. I mean, this is, oh my gosh, don't mess with this stuff. Don't mess with the stuff at work. This thing's making you money. Don't touch it. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
No. Well, have we beat Windows 10 enough?
For today, but I'm just getting started.
For today. Well, keep working on Windows 10, Tim, and I'm definitely curious to hear what you have to say. I want to know more about it. I'm going to start working with it a little bit more. I may make it a VM on my local machine, on my Linux box here, just that way I always have it with me to play with.
It's cheating. It's cheating.
Well, I don't. Okay.
No.
I want to know how to use the stupid machine. It took me like 4 minutes to figure out how to even just change my home screen because it didn't save because there's no.
I know.
So I went those are the things. Those are the things I want to know. Like, how do you change?
Play around with Edge. That will drive you nuts. Try to change your home page. I mean, I finally got it, but it's not like it's just a little different. The controls, one off.
Yeah.
Actually, that was one other thing I wanted to mention was that years ago we heard where everything would just be in the browser, and now it seems that didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't understand that, and darn if that isn't the truth. I mean, however different this thing is, installing everything. As soon as I installed Chrome, signed into Chrome, and it started, importing all of my all of
bookmarks
my
and
all of my come on, not add-ons, but the
extensions.
The extensions. It was like, it's like F11, maximize this, and it's like, okay, all of a sudden this isn't so weird, and it's like that's just because it was just my browser window, it's my Chrome, which I don't say my Chrome, I have major problems with Chrome. I actually like Firefox and others as well, but it's true. So much of what we do is now in the browser. It was actually pretty amazing to me. It was really like a light switch that it was like, how do you do this? How do you do that? As soon as I got Chrome installed and signed into it, it was like, wow, I can't believe it. All of a sudden this environment became very familiar and usable. So that was just an observation of mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the things that is keeping me from moving from Chrome to Firefox is, so we know that if you've listened to Geeksters a couple weeks ago, I was terrible. I was exactly. Something. Am I doing that now, or are you just making fun of me back then?
No. That was a callback.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure I wasn't doing that.
Okay. No.
So that's what was happening.
Okay.
But then I moved to Firefox, or I at least now do the Hangout in Firefox. One of the things that's keeping me from making the changes, there's a third-party bookmark app that I've used in Chrome for many years called Speed Dial. So it's set as my homepage. I don't really use my bookmarks as much as I use that third-party app. I have across the top, there's little buttons that have subsections in them, but it's all, I have now put all my eggs in a third-party app that's not available on Chrome or on Firefox. So it's keeping me from moving over there because I want all those things.
It?
Well, I know. See, it's something silly. It's all personalization. There's always something small that will keep somebody from making a change, and it could be the color of the car. It could be the color of the interior. So there is now an application website called start.me that I'm going to take a look at. It is both for Chrome and for Firefox, and it does exactly the same thing. It has a startup dashboard on it. You can have icons, you can have details, you can do RSS feeds, you can do the weather, sports scores, but it's cross-platform. So I'm hoping now that to switch over to this, and then if I'm using Chrome or Firefox, that same start page will be there for me. It is free. If there is a paid version, which is $25 a month, the difference is you can collaborate, you have no advertisements, and there's additional branding in the $25 a month one. From free to $25 a month is a big jump. I think that if they made
That's a lot of stinking money.
if they made that $7 a month, because those are the only things. That's it. Everything else is free. Bookmarks, RSS feeds, productivity tools, which are like calendars, notes, emails, widgets, 3,500 plus widgets, personal pages, themes. You can import, you can export, multi-platform, browser extensions. Only those three things: sharing and collaborating, advertisements, and branding. I don't know how intrusive the advertisements are. That may be a big thing, but from $0 to $25 a month is a huge leap. I would say that if they said maybe $5 a month or $7 a month, $25, that's a big jump. So I'm going to try this out for free. It's called start.me, start.me. I'm going to give this a shot, and maybe this is going to be what's keeping me from moving from Firefox. And I realize it's something silly, and I realize it's something small, but I would have to recreate all my bookmarks in Firefox. So.
I think, okay.
I mean, it's silly, and I realize that.
I encourage you to find a solution, because that's a much smaller hurdle than I thought that you had. So that's good.
Well, I already use Xmarks, so Xmarks and LastPass cross-platform. Across all my passwords, all my bookmarks. So those bookmarks are there. So we'll have to see what happens.
Okay.
So last week I had mentioned that there was an app out, and I think it was. Oh, I need to pull up the notes from last week. And I said, it was AdAware. The AdAware removal tool released a new version, and I was all excited. And then I realized that's AdAware removal tool, not ADW Cleaner. Well, this week ADW Cleaner upgraded to version 5 and now ships with Windows 7 compatibility issues. Windows 10 compatibility and stuff. So I know I said that completely wrong. Anyways, ADW Cleaner version 5 now supports Windows 10. So I'm looking forward to using that. And actually, I think my upgrade last night, because I had a computer that's all infected, and I believe it was using ADW Cleaner 5 on with my D7 II.
Get it cleaned up?
Oh yeah, yeah. She said I went to Amazon and got infected. I went, I don't. She said I don't think.
Amazon.
I said I don't think Amazon got you. She said, well, maybe it's the City of Portland webpage. And I'm like, well,
no, that sounds no.
So I went in there, and the first thing I saw was backup.me, and then I started running scans, and oh my, it was everything except conduit. But I ran ADW Cleaner, JRT, Super Anti-Spyware, Malwarebytes,
Hitman Pro.
I didn't run Hitman Pro, but I was able to clean it up with all the Hitman Pro. I've been really lenient with Hitman Pro just because of the whole one-time 30-day. That's what kind of keeps me from there. I can't.
If I knew it'd work, I'd use it, but I don't want to waste my one chance.
Exactly. I am so
totally cheap out.
I do. I totally cheap out on Hitman Pro. I know it's a great product, and I know it would work great, but if I know there is a potential in the future for this person to get infected, then I don't really want to wait. I don't want to show my cards too soon.
Yeah.
So.
But even after the 30 days, it'll still show you the path. You can.
Well, yeah, but then what? Then I gotta work.
Yeah.
The whole point of having these tools, right, is that this is my cost per hour. If you get in and get out soon, and not have to work the whole hour, then you've made more money. And so the whole point is to work smarter, not harder. But I don't. If it just shows me the path, then I got to go in and start doing some stuff manually. Yes, I'm cheaping out, and I realize that. And I would do.
Oh, it's not even that. I have like a gambler's a person. Do I roll a dice? Should I go for it? I don't know. I'm working through it. It's like, come on, I'm looking for a pretty lady to blow on the dice. I'm like, come on, I really want to. Should I do it? I'm like, it's cheap out.
So I would use Hitman Pro, but so far I've been able to do it with multiple other tools, and I got them all nice and clean. I think she expected me to jump in, delete this one file, and be done with it, and it actually took 2 hours. And she's texting me, "Are you done yet?" I'm like, "Nope, not yet. Still scanning." Like, you got yourself super infected. She was getting pop-ups and redirects, and she couldn't use a web page because she couldn't. It took about 15 minutes for her to connect to my Screen Connect, just because every time she'd go, a pop-up would be getting in her way, and she'd have to move it or close it, and then another one would pop up. And
Oh, you did it remotely. You're lucky.
oh yeah, no, I did all remotely. I didn't have to drive downtown.
He's a man.
That's right.
The man.
That's right. I found this one. This one came through today. It's how to find your lost Windows or Office product keys. We've come across these. We've talked about these before in the past. This is from howtogeek.com, and it goes from really simple to a little more detailed. Like, where can you find your key? On the software, on the sticker, published in your UEFI software. Finding any key. There's a how to. Basically, you're creating a registry key, or you're creating a bat file, a VBS script that runs through and does some stuff. Use Nearsoft. Read the key from the COA sticker. So it has all of this kind of stuff. But if you're ever looking for how to find your key, and there's multiple different products out there, give this one a shot. And the last one that I have, at least for me, is Google released a product called OnHub, and I watched a little video about it. It's this Wi-Fi streaming app. Okay, how does it work? Apparently, there's an app. It goes in, it modifies your wireless network and boosts the signal-ish. I wish I knew exactly what it was, because it's a Google product, and one of those things is like, it's a flashy web page. It looks really nice, but I have no idea what it does. It's supposed to be. It's okay. Why is it different than other routers today? OnHub looks for different than other routers because it's designed to be out in the open, which gives you the best signal. So it's this little tube. It kind of looks like a can of oatmeal, like the Quaker box oatmeal can. You can put it anywhere. It uses a mobile app. And it's supposed to, as your wireless changes and the devices change, come and go, your wireless devices, it's supposed to modify and shape the network to get you the best resources. And I don't know. It's pre-order right now. It looks kind of interesting. I heard about it briefly in the past. It kind of came back out again. It's $199. I don't know. So the specs are smooth, streamless, AC 1900 for Wi-Fi speeds up to 1900 megabits, 13 high-powered antennas, supports both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz ranges.
I'm intrigued when I see where Google is selling hardware.
Yeah,
because my first thought is, why? What's their deal? Why are they doing this? What are they getting out of this? I mean, obviously, when they saw, like, their, the tablets, the phones, whatever, I get that. I mean, that makes sense. But this thing, it's not even I don't even see any branding on it for Google. So what's it? Unless there's some kind, I'm sure that some would speculate there's some kind of tricky Google stuff going on. So I don't think that's the case. I mean, so now I'm just going to assume it's a really, really great product that they decide to get behind, and now I'm interested. But I'm just always intrigued when I see Google selling hardware. Why is Google? Right? Well, I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's $199. That's kind of a top-end router, but I've been having wireless issues in my house, so maybe I'll get it and throw it downstairs, because it looks like you can just put it anywhere. I'll just put it somewhere and see what it does.
Yeah. I make sure it's tied down or something. It looks like someone might take it and put coffee in it. I mean, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, it looks like a big thermos. So gotta make sure. We're asking for email, and we received an email from, and I'm gonna mess this up. I think is it Tienie? Tienie. I don't know, and I apologize for messing it up. Well, it actually doesn't say she, so this could be he, and I apologize. Because it says, "Hi guys, my name is Tiny or Teeny, I don't know, and I'm from South Africa. I regularly follow your show and wanted to say that I miss it. I'm a Peppermint Linux user, and I like it when you mention Linux on the podcast. Please don't stop the podcast. Kind regards." So Linux.
Hey, I actually I booted into my my Linux Mint. I used my Linux Mint live disk to boot into that P4 machine and to inspect what was on the hard drives before I wrote over them. And I was going to install Mint on it because I've always liked Mint. And the Windows 10 took me by surprise and successfully installed. But I always think whenever we go from these new versions of Windows, I'm like, you know what, this is it. This is when I'm going to look around and see, you know, what version of Linux really should I install? What gets me excited? I'm always, and I look around. I never really get like that answer. And I ask some friends that use Linux, and I say, you know, I just always end up coming back to Mint. I don't know why. So.
Yeah. Well, Mint. Now, would you use the Mate or the Cinnamon desktop?
See, and those are the questions that piss me off about Linux.
It's
you know, because either I can't arrive at an answer, or I think that actually, you know what? After about a half hour of like going through all that, I just said screw this, and I downloaded Sonar because I wanted to see where they were at in the project, and I was going to install that.
Nice. Well, that's our good friend Jonathan Nadeau. Sonar.
Sorry, Jonathan. Windows 10 installed on my P4 machine, so I didn't try out your Sonar.
Oh.
But I do follow that. I do follow that project. I'm fascinated by it, and I throw all my weight behind it as far as what they're doing there.
We should get him. We should get Jonathan on the show.
I would love to have him back on and see where that project's at.
Let's do that. Let's reach out. So, Jonathan, I don't know if you follow us. I'm going to hit you up on Voxer. We'll get you on the show. But he runs the Accessible Computing Foundation, where he creates a product called Sonar. It's a Linux distro that's for people with disabilities. Hearing. Jonathan is blind. Has been blind for many years, and that man can find his way around Boston blind faster than I can find my way around Boston with sight. He knows everywhere to go, and he humbles me when I am with him. Just a great man. So we'll get him back on the show. I'm going to be installing probably on this machine here Ubuntu Mate. Go back over to that with Martin Wimpress. He's a gentleman that is one of the leaders of that Ubuntu Mate distro. I believe he has reached out to Door Geek and Cody, and will be on Linux for the rest of us at some point in the future. So that'll be exciting to hear that coming up. And Teeny, if you're not, or Teeny, I apologize, I'm going to thrash your name again. If you're not following Linux for the rest of us on the Podnuts Network, check that one out. That's with Dor and Cody. I jump on there every now and then when I can. Right now it's softball season for me, but I jump on there as well, and we just talk about Linux.
Yeah, real quick, that was episode 87. You can find that there at Podnuts with Jonathan Nadeau. Undoubtedly still my favorite episode of Geeksters we've ever done. And Jonathan, my grandmother told me this, but it's kind of hard to understand until I think that listening to Jonathan, you understand this. But she tried to explain to me the difference between having sight and having vision, and so they're two different things. You don't need eyesight to actually have good quote-unquote vision, and she had that, and he does that as well. And so, to watch people who have limited eyesight, to actually see them get around, how they use the world, I mean, the way the guy uses a computer, he demonstrates the difference between having eyesight and having good vision. So, thanks for the email. That was great. Yeah.
Yep. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to. I gotta cut it's not too short, but we've been here for just about an hour now. I have a double header tonight. So in softball, so hopefully we'll win. We won one lost one last week, and my hitting game is back on. All of a sudden, it came back, so I'm excited to get out there and start doing well tonight. But do you have any final closing remarks or anything you want to mention to anybody?
Nope. Fall ball starting up for me here. So with my daughter.
Very nice.
So.
My daughter did try out last week for a team of 12. They already had 8 going in. She was one of 12 trying out for 4 positions. Didn't make it. But was
break a couple legs out in the parking lot.
Well, it was a learning experience. As a coach, we got to see some new skills and tactics, for coaching. I think my daughter is more excited about it. She's been using a bat that was apparently a little heavy. The coach gave her a different bat, and my daughter started just cracking them to the fence. So now my daughter wants to buy a $250 bat. So, anyways, Mitch, if people can get a hold of us or want to get a hold of us, give us a phone call, give us an email. What was the best way to do that?
Send us your emails at geeksters@podnuts.com and send us some voicemails at 707-676-3688.
And Tim, if people want to reach out and talk to you and find out some more information from you?
I'm Tim Bauermeister on the G+.
Very nice. And I'm sorry, I got distracted by another project that just came in. I'm Martin Obando. I'm M. Obando in Google+, Obando Computing in the chat there. Again, if you guys want to hang out with us, just follow me on Google+. What
there was that long pause there. It's almost as if you guys do the show without me, and then I just fill in blanks later on, and it's just edited together. It's like even we can't stand that guy. We do it without him, and we just leave spaces for him to fill later on. He just
I was like shiny thing and just looked over there and I gotta turn
that's the way it's gonna say. It's like we just dub that jerk and we can't stand it.
No, that's not true.
Well, it's okay. That's what people expect you to say.
Why would I say that?
Because it's true.
It's not true. Anyways.
Space.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. M. Obando and Google+. That's where you can follow me. Follow me there to find out about when the shows come on, what we can and stuff. Obando Computing in the chat. Now that Tim has completely thrown my groove off, I am all flustered. I am now disgruntled, and now I can't even say it.
How Mark got his roof back.
What?
I didn't say anything.
All right, guys.
Have a great fiscal week. Stay gruntled.
There you go. See you next week. Bye.
That's 166, right?
Yeah. All right. I got to go change, guys. I'll talk to you.
Man. Take care, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. See you guys later.